Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Vinaxius and we're playing Hearthstone Arena Into the Pit. So our last game was pretty brutal, and there was literally nothing I could do about it. I just got hammered in the face by a 22 or something like that. Something absolutely ridiculous. I think I'll take a Druid here. I'm not entirely sure if we've played a Druid in Arena yet, but I like Druid a lot. I have played it a relatively decent amount of time in play mode just to complete quests and stuff. And, you know, we got a couple bad epic picks, and then we got Ancient of Lore as well, and then that makes everything okay. Naturalize is an interesting card. I feel like I'd rather not use it if I don't have to, so I'm going to forego it. Wild Growth is a good card, and I don't like the other two options. We'll never have a weapon, Murloc Raiders meh. I'd rather have the Silence with my 2-1 for an extra mana, to be honest. And although we don't have a lot of creatures yet, Innervate is going to do us a lot of good. At least it has the potential to. Priestess of Loon isn't terrible, but there are certainly better 6 mana drops, so I think we'll go with Harvest Golem here. Ooh. Obviously it's either one of Mountain Giant or Ancient of War. I like the idea of Ancient of War. He is more adaptable. We could have a 5/10 taunt or a 10/5 without taunt. And both of those ideas are very appealing. I'll take a second Mark of the Wild. I'll take a third Mark of the Wild, but no more. I'm cutting myself off. Moonfire is okay. Gnomish Inventor is good for the card draw. With 2 7-mana creatures, Ironbark Protector is just so good though. We'll go with it. And I might regret foregoing the card draw here. Buffing up a Flesh-Eating Ghoul with Mark of the Wild is always a good idea, and we do have a swipe so far to deal with enemy creatures. Which, you know, it could be better, but it could certainly be worse. I'll take a Lord of the Arena here. He's not terrible in Arena. And we'll go with Starfire. And we'll go with Claw, because I love that damage. Yeah, let's take a second Claw. At this point, I really hope to be grabbing myself some creatures here. Nourish is also good. It's a considerable card draw source, so I think I'll go with it. Oh my gosh, of course it gives me like... I'll take another swipe. Creatures, please. I'm taking the Core Hand. Cheaper creatures, please. There we go. Tron Warrior is good. I'll take that. Windfury Harpy. I could have used Power of the Wild for the Panther as well. That might have been a good idea. We have Flesh-Eating Ghouls, and our deck's not super designed for it, which is sort of awkward, but I don't think it's going to be too terrible. I should slow down and start being more thoughtful maybe now that we only have 5 cards left. I should have slowed down and been thoughtful a lot easier, I'd say. Earlier, I would say. Acolyte of Pain could be good with all the Marks of the Wild we have, because then he would do some good damage, he'd take some good damage. So I decided to go for it. We do have a considerable number of high mana cards. And I'm not a huge fan of either of these picks, really, especially with all the other 7 mana cards we have. So let's go with the Wild Growth. Why not? And another 4 mana creature would be good, and Chill and Yeti is just all around solid. I'll take another Druid of the Claw. I'll take my first Druid of the Claw, actually. I like him a lot. And here, I don't want Cold Light Seer. I could take Twilight Drake, but our early game card draw is sort of lacking. And that makes it a bit less viable, but if we get into the late stages and we have like Nourish and stuff, Twilight Drake becomes more viable. I think we have enough 3-mana drops that I'd be comfortable with a Twilight Drake. And honestly, I'm feeling decent about this. I didn't get the legendary that I wish and pray for, but it'll happen someday and I'll be really happy. For now, let's hope to get a good performance in our first game to get us started on the right foot.
Malfurion versus Rexar.
I have not been drinking enough water the last few days.
I must protect the
Alright, I'm happy with our start. I'll get rid of Lord of the Arena and hope for like a Twilight Drake, that's fine. Against a Hunter, I do feel that my best option is to coin into like River Crocodilus, because River Crocodilus deals a lot better with his opening creatures than a Fairy Dragon would based on his stats. And it'd be great if he survived the initial trade.
One kill.
That's an interesting play with an Elven Archer off the bat. It makes me feel better, certainly. So I will do it. We'll coin River Crocodilus. Turn 2, we get to Fairy Dragon, and then we get to Harvest Golem, then we get to Twilight Drake, maybe. And we have Nourish. So if we draw some of our 7 mana and 8 mana creatures, I could use that for the mana crystals, or I could just get 3 card draws out of it, which is fantastic. I'm not too perturbed by tracking, so I think we'll be fine. Here, I'm absolutely going to Wild Growth, and I'll just get rid of that off the bat because in case, I guess. Honestly, the Hunter doesn't really have any buffs for her, so I might have been better off just swinging. We'll see, maybe he has an Arcane Shot and will finish me off. Now though, with 4 cards in our hand next turn, I feel very comfortable with the Twilight Drake. 4 mana for 4/5 is not bad at all.
May my ancestors.
That is certainly annoying, however. Perhaps it would be best if I did this instead.
For the wilds.
I'm going to do it, it's a decent enough trade. I'll still have an okay number of cards for Twilight Drake. I'll have even better cards if I decide to Nourish, but with cards to play already, I don't think that is most advisable course of action. Next turn we could Twilight Drake Claw, which would be strong. Or we could like Hero Power and Harvest Golem. I have no idea why I would Harvest Golem and Hero Power instead of Twilight Drake and Claw, but we'll see. We could just straight up Twilight Drake as well, that's always an option. Oh gosh, I should have peed. Oh well. I'm going to guess it might be an explosive trap. It might be a snipe though, which is kind of unsettling. It certainly makes shoot. Should I mark of the wild this guy? Can I even do that? I don't think I can target it with my own spells powers either, so I'll do that. I'm going to Harvest Golem and see if it triggers a trap, which it does. And I'm glad I did not play Twilight Drake this turn. Goodbye, Harvest Golem, you did me good. Made me proud. Okay. We got the trap out of the way from the Hunter, and now I can once again comfortably play Twilight Drake next turn, unless he plays another trap. In which case I would try to get rid of it somehow. Secret trap, same difference. For Hunters it might as well be called trap with the number of like explosive and freezing and sneak secret cards that there are. He plays a Wisp, it'll get to have a favorable trade at least with the damaged golem. And Stranglethorn Tiger is certainly scary. My issue is that if I Acolyte of Pain and Mark of the Wild, it won't actually do much, so I think it's best to Twilight Drake here. It's a 4-5 currently. We'll Mark of the Wild it to make it, bam, a 6-7, which is particularly scary. And I'd say that was probably the best opportunity we'd get to play Twilight Drake. I guess we could have nourished beforehand, but then I'd be exposed to the damage from Stranglethorn Tiger, and that would make me uncomfortable. So I would prioritize some board control first, which is what I did. If I had 3 more mana, it would have definitely been nice to get the Acolyte of Pain out as well, and then I could trade 1 damage for the Wisp at the start. Sea Giant is scary. I wonder if he's going to attack with the Tiger. I'd probably say he would not, because it just doesn't make sense to do so. Okay. Some decisions to be made here. I'm scared that he might somehow kill off the Twilight Drake, and then the Sea Giant would be left there to deal horrifying amounts of damage to me. Yeah, we have to do it as a precautionary measure, I think. Then we'll Acolyte of Pain. We'll swing in at him. I still do feel a little bit uncomfortable with the situation at hand. Especially if he manages to kill the Twilight Drake, like I said, because then there'd still be 4 health to chew through, and all I have in my hand is Claw and Nourish, which would leave me with 3 mana left next turn. Not very favorable.
I wonder.
So, crossing my fingers, I hope this was worth it. Ooh, that's scary. He still can't have his Sea Giant survive if he wants to kill the Twilight Drake. That'd be an odd thing to do unless he has, like, Arcane Shot. If he doesn't, then I get a super favorable trade out of the Twilight Drake. Alright, I'll take it. Bam. I would kill the Leper Gnome and get a card draw. Ancient of Lore, that's good. I will draw 2 cards with my Ancient of Lore, thank you very much. And I get a Flesh-Eating Ghoul and Mark of the Wild, which is solid. No need for Claw just yet. I'd rather save it for when I can actually get good stuff done with it. Acolyte of Pain is guaranteed to get me 1 more card draw, which makes him splendidly worth it. Then it would be worth it to get the Divine Shield out of the way. Yeah, that sounds favorable to me. Do that. Ooh, I made a mistake. I should have Flesh-Eating Ghoul first. I got a little bit hyphy there, unfortunately. And I'll swipe that lady. Get rid of all of that stuff. Trade like this, and I will finish off the Darkscale Healer myself because I am not worried about him suddenly doing 17 damage to me at this point in time. Next turn we will have a lot of damage to dish out, unless his 1 card is very, very fantastic, or the arena is certainly good. However, I am still at quite an advantageous position. I'll just straight up trade with the Ancient of Lore here. And then we have some good stuff to do. Mark of the Wild, this guy. Alright, look at that. Swing in for 10. And we do in fact have enough mana to finish him off with 2 claws and a hero power. And there we go. Looking solid, I think. I'm pretty happy with how the Druid deck turned out, although I was a bit scared about my lack of minions as we progressed through the drafting phase. I am enjoying this so far. We have a lot of late game power. We have a lot of potential to get into that late game really quickly with 2 Wild Growths and an Innervate and an Urish. And we have a solid enough early game if we get lucky enough to draw some of those cards that we need. We do have a lot of 2 mana stuff. So I think the odds are potentially often in our favor. So there we go. That's game 1. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support and for the time you've invested in joining me on this journey. I'll see you next time.